arbitrage. So I help people buy and sell there. I've coached about 15 different individual, sellers online with Logan, myself, and Zach that's on here. So I have a little bit of experience about how to sell on Amazon. I know how to kind of buy on Amazon. I also know how to make money online. So my online, so I hit a huge milestone today. I'm actually really, really proud of myself. So I passed $1 million in revenue on Amazon today. It was actually earlier this morning. I've been selling, of that $1 million in revenue, I've done probably close to 200,000 in profit. Of that 200,000 in profit in 2.5 years, I probably do Amazon 5 hours a week. So that's, and I think, and then outside of the Amazon world, I run a multi-million-dollar marketing agency that I've been running for the last 15 years, and I absolutely love what I do. So it gives me the ability to come back and share with you guys, like, hey, this is what I suggest. This is what you do. Like I've seen, I reached out, I'm going to pick on Paris. Like I think I reached out to Paris, probably, 3-4 months ago. I said, dude, what the hell are you buying? Like, stop, like stop buying that. And this is why, and follow up with, really with suggestions. Let me go ahead and just share my screen here. 1 second. Oh shit, hold on. What?
Those are still in my inventory, Danny, by the way. They're slow moving.
What was that?
I think I still have them in inventory. They're definitely moving pretty slow.
Yeah, there you go. All right, can you guys see I'm trying to see what screen you actually see here. Do you see like the Amazon?
You just drug it away.
Yeah, go back over to the original.
Right there. Good.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect. Cool. I have like this dual monitor. I'm still trying to figure out how it works. So look, after the call, I will send this to everyone. This is something I put together today. Me and Logan kind of put it together. A couple different things we kind of want to go over. Really just an introduction to who we are. I went over who I am, and I'm going to introduce Logan in a second. I met Logan in another Discord group about probably 2 years ago. I was actually going back to our original conversation on Discord. I met Logan. Me and him kind of hit it off right off the bat. And I knew from like the first probably 30 minutes of our conversation, Logan was going to be a 7-figure seller on Amazon, making a ton of money. He had the heart, he had the drive, and he wanted to make money, and he was willing to learn, right? And we all have those stories of like, oh my God, like, those mishap stories of like, what did I buy and why did I buy this? And, and I kind of helped him across the line. And over the last couple of years, we've become really close friends, and we basically chat pretty much day in, day out, with both of our businesses, and try to help each other basically online. I'm going to skip over this. I'm going to skip over that. All right. So I think the most important really thing is where I'm going to go into is there's a really big misconception when there's coming to selling on Amazon, and everyone is privy to this. We all see people talking on Amazon, especially like social media, where you go into a store, you scan some items, and all of a sudden people are making a ton of money, right? People think that you can just go on Nike.com and buy like hundreds of products, and all of a sudden we're going to be rich. Like, there's a big misconception here. Yeah, can you get rich doing Amazon? Absolutely. But it's not going to get this rich quick scheme that's out there, right? And I think what happens is when people start going into wholesale, people have this conception that, I'm going to buy a bunch of product and all of a sudden it's going to sell, right? And that's really not the case, right? The case is you really have to learn about, kind of like the core fundamentals of like, how someone one is the product popular, right? And what I mean by that is like, what is the sales rank? And some of the stuff is going to be super, super basic, and then some is going to get a lot more detailed in why I do it like this, like, sales rank. Let me go back down to this thread here. I only buy stuff in the 0.5% category of sales rank. And let me just zoom in on this so you guys can see. So, and honestly, some of the top 0.5% of the sales rank, I actually buy under this. So I only purchase in a certain couple of categories, right? And really because I only understand so much. Like, for instance, I avoid makeups. I avoid anything cosmetic because I don't understand it. I don't, I can't pick out the shades 100%. It's the product is going to go in wrong to Amazon and I'm going to screw it up. I have no like preference of like how I can do it. I sell a lot of grocery. I sell a lot of apparel. I sell a lot of shoes. I've done some books. I've done a lot of baby. But typically speaking is when I'm selling on Amazon, I like to stay in basically that 50 to 100,000 rank on Amazon. And that's pretty much across the board. There are some categories where I'll venture out into the 150 to 200 to 300,000 rank. But honestly, what I've seen is when you go into the 200 to 300,000 rank products, those products are going to move at a much slower velocity as a product in the 50 to 100 range, right? Some of them, and that can always change. I think I read somewhere recently that the sales rank changes every 24 minutes or something, every 25 minutes. It's constantly changing. So it's going up and down constantly based on people buying. But if you kind of look at these categories here, we see baby products, 19,000. I'll probably go a little bit higher in baby, right? Books I kind of stay away from. I would never buy and try to sell a book at a 500,000 rank. It's impossible. And again, clothing, I really stay underneath 100,000. And that is basically across the board, right? Grocery and gourmet goods, I go up as high as like 50 or 60,000, right? I took a product that I sold on, I actually found it on eCom. It was when I bought it, it was I think it was actually through the Discord. It was a Discord lead. It was a supplement product that I found is considered like a grocery good. I think it started off when I bought it originally. It was like a 7,000 rank product. No one scooped it up. I bought, I think all of them. I don't even remember how many there was. It turned out to be a massive home run. However, what had happened was because the rank started at 7,000, the price went up. All of a sudden, the rank starts going up. So the rank went up as high as 50,000. But my velocity of the sales was continued to be the same. But I could only determine that because I was looking at the Keep chart. There's something that's interesting about grocery goods on Amazon. So there's Whole Foods that is on a lot of these listings, right? You guys see them all the time. So if you ever look, Whole Foods is usually at the same price as you are, right? Typically, but they tack on a $9.99 shipping fee. You can list your product at the top of the shipping. So like, let's say Whole Foods has a list the product at $19 and they have a $9.99 shipping fee. You can list your product at the $27 mark and you're going to get buy box with Whole Foods almost every time, because you're basically competing with the same price. The price is basically the same. And what I've noticed is a lot of their products is when you compete with them, even though they'll get the buy box, they'll just share the buy box all day long. And I've seen that. I've done that multiple times. So don't be afraid of Whole Foods. Don't be afraid of Amazon. Both are, honestly, when I see them on a listing, I'm like, yes, man. Like, because honestly, what ends up happening is not only does it scare away other sellers, but also allows you to get more of the sales. And there's a couple other categories that, like, pet supplies, 40,000, 50,000. Sports and outdoors, I only stay 40,000. Tools and goods, 50, 60,000. Toys and games, I will go up to a 300,000 on toys and games. Toys sell pretty much year round. People that are parents in here, if your child wants a toy, you're just going to go on, hop on, buy it, and case be done. And that happens more than you think. Let's scroll back up here. Oops, sorry. So one of the things I want to really go over is we talked about sales rank, and then talking about, Keepa and the benefit of, I don't know how many people in this group have sold online arbitrage, if they've ever done other forms of wholesale, right? I'm seeing a lot of head shade, a lot of head bobs and stuff like that. So I'm constantly seeing and it's really just like comments that I see on the Facebook group. I see it on thing that, it's hard to find products, my products are tanking, stuff like that. So eCom and I kind of, I like eCom a lot. And the reason I like eCom is they've done the hard work for us, right? We basically pay the fee, whatever it is. We pay our yearly fee to get access to a platform that has thousands and thousands of pre-vetted products for it. And all we basically have to go and is look at it, do a little bit of research, do your Keepa research, and then determine if that's a good product for us, right? And they've done the hard work. If you ever go to the savvy seller, or if you go to another wholesale provider, a distributor, or a supplier, they'll give you like a CSV document, which a bunch of UPCs, and it's basically, hey, good luck, go find this product. It's a nightmare. It's not fun. Honestly, I do not enjoy that whatsoever. It's not, I don't find, there's no fun in using Scan Unlimited and trying to match it up and trying to figure out if this product's profitable, contacting the supplier, hooking up, and trying to figure out all the pieces. Like, that's not fun. And then sending all those products to a prep center that's going to charge you anywhere from $1 to $2 a product to send that product into Amazon. No, thank you. I don't know about you guys, but I love the ease of use that eCom is basically provided to us, right? And I think, when it comes, I'm coming from the online arbitrage world. So I did my first, I don't know, 800,000 in sales basically on basically online arbitrage. And, finding products is not easy, and I think that's basically the number one thing that I hear is it's really hard to find products. Online arbitrage is even harder. We have eCom, we're lucky here, so like to be able to go in here and basically find products. And what I'll do is I'm going to do a couple like live sourcing things. I'm going to let Logan, kind of pop in and say a little things. The next section for Keepa is basically Logan wrote it. If you guys never met Logan is, he started to, be a lot more engaged in the Discord. I told Jason months ago, I'm like, you gotta bring Logan on. You gotta bring Logan on. He's great, man. Like, he's really good at sourcing. He's got the eye for the products, right? And Logan is now going to be working on the Discord solely to start bringing better leads to you guys, right? And why is because I personally, I would love to be able to see more more community based on Discord. I like the fact that I want to see products that are going to sell. I'm a big component. I love seeing people make money, man. Like, I love that. So like, if we can get more buys on there, and I think when it and one of the things I wanted and we started kind of implementing, if you guys started to see, is discounts based on how much quantity you buy. Wholesale is quantity. Online arbitrage is buying 1 to 12. Wholesale is buying bulk of a product and start selling it on Amazon, right? So if we can start buying more of this supply that's out there, we can get better prices internally, and then you can make more money on Amazon. I mean, it's name of the game. So one of the things that we're going to be doing over the next couple of months is basically rolling out, for the savvy sellers that are out there, this is going to benefit you. For the non-savvy sellers out there, it's going to benefit you. And why is the savvy sellers is we're basically sourcing the products for you, and you basically buy it, at your best price. Huge win. You don't have to scan those sheets. That's a benefit. And then for the non-savvy sellers that are out there is you're basically getting quantity discount. So at 100 units, you get X price. At 250 units, you get this price. At 500 units, you get this price. At the end of the day, if it's $1 difference in the actual profit, on the actual cost of the item, I mean, that's at the end of the day, that could be determining factor if it's profitable or not. But if you were to take that same product and go buy 12 of them on seats, you might not be profitable because you didn't buy them at a quantity discount. And I think that's ultimately like what I've really wanted to start kind of implementing internally. Logan, you want to kind of take off on the Keepa side?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And Danny has been great. He's been taking over so far. But yeah, over this last few months, I've been having a few ups and downs with Amazon. Actually, I got hit with a Section 3. So I actually been down for the last few months. So that gave me an opportunity to branch out and kind of, attack the supply a little bit more. So what we did here with Keepa was we kind of just really we kind of just broke it down to bare minimum of the basics. The few things I like to focus on, when I look at a Keepa chart right in is, Amazon, buy box, the new third-party sales and sales rank. And then the second graph is obviously going to be, your seller count, and you're going to have the review count at the same time, which, I didn't use review count for a while, but eCom actually showed me over the last few months that review counts actually do track and follow with sales. So I've been actually playing with that for the last few months as well. The main thing on looking on Keepa and, you know, looking at a product on Amazon is, you know, some people get scared of Amazon being on a listing, but, you know, typically I'll still sell on a listing with Amazon. One of my best selling items, actually, you know, I sell with Amazon. They share the buy box with a few different sellers, and it's, you know, it's a high selling item. So they're not able to keep stock on it. So it's actually funny that one of my best selling items is with Amazon selling with me. So, you know, if you see Amazon on a listing, don't just throw it right out. Don't, you know, filter them in and out if you're, you know, looking through products on Seats. One of the things you need to pay attention to if Amazon is on the listing is if they are not going out of stock, they're staying on stock, you know, for more than 65% of the time in the 90-day mark. You got to avoid that. You know, they're clearly going to dominate. It's their platform. It's FBA. There's nothing you can do about it. Let's see. In this next part in the let's see.
Hey Logan, take over so you can show them exactly what that looks like. The 60%. I'm gonna start sharing my screen here.
Let's see.
There you go.
So when I'm looking at something, you know, when I'm talking about Amazon's presence, when I'm talking about their 90-day supply, which is right here, Amazon has been out of stock in the last 90 days, 100%. So this is telling me when you come over here, Amazon has not touched his listing. I don't have to worry about them. They're not a competitor. So I'm going to come back over here. Like I said, the main things you need to look at: sales rank, buy box, Amazon, new, and third party, which is FBA. It's going to, you know, align with the buy box. But for this example, I'm going to look in the last 30 days. So you're going to see this on a buy box here. It's been, you know, somewhat steady. It's obviously sitting here at the 30 range, jumped up and down, you know, a few times to, you know, 35 or whatever. But if you come over here to data, go to buy box statistics, and you hear and look at the range in the last 30 days. So this is the price. This is the sales price I'm going to be considering when I'm trying to source this item. So if you look, this guy's captured 20% of the buy box sales at $31.37. So I'm over here. I like to use ASIN and seller amp. The more, the better. So if I come over here, I say, you know, I get this item from Walmart, $19. You look over here, you know, 232 is not looking like something that a lot of people is going to grab, but you got to look at the listing. It does high volume sales. There's not a lot of sellers on the actual listing. Come back to the Keepa chart here. Like I was saying earlier, the second graph here has the seller count and the review count. If you see here in the last month, you know, since I guess what, November 25th, been 38 sellers on the listing, and the last month is now, you know, dropped down to 23 sellers in total, with some being FBM. To me, that's telling me that there's a lot of sales volume on this, and that it's been consistent. And as you can see, the supply has been going down with the seller count, and at the same time, the buy box price has raised a little bit. But if I were to source this product, I'm going to come in here and say, you know what, based on the sales data here and based on Keepa, I'm looking at a 30-day chart here. I'm going to try to sell this item at $31.37, $30, you know, give or take. So I need to come up here. And another thing to pay attention to when you're sourcing is your break-even price. My break-even price on this item, if I were to buy X amount of units, comes out to $28. You come back over here, if you look at the 30-day chart, you can see we haven't really hit that anytime. So that's telling me this is kind of, you know, almost risk-free based on the 30-day chart. You go over the 90-day chart, if you're going to do, you know, a lot of units. This is now, you know, looking, all right, you're still selling in 30 range, you probably capture it. Supply demand is the, you know, name of the game here. If you can send in the more units on a listing, there's a higher chance you're going to win buy box. That's something we're going to talk about here later in the presentation as well. But this is basically, you know, just a quick breakdown of, you know, the main things I kind of look at when I'm going at Keepa first thing. You know, obviously this is a OA listing, so it's a little bit different, but, you know, there are people that might be able to secure this from wholesale suppliers or, you know, back indoors, which I'm not sure how they are, but either way, people are coming in and selling this item. As you can tell, it is selling, you know, 3,000 units a month, which it is a variation listing. So you have to come over here and check that. But what you look at over here is buy box being suppressed. This is not going to perform like you think it is when it's showing here. Danny, you've sold these, I've sold these, you know, whenever you send in units, and the second you get buy box, what you're selling, you know, 20, 30.
Go back, yeah, go back to stay on the variation. So there's here, scroll down. So there's something to be said when it comes to variations, right? So there is a variation listings should scare you. Let me say that again. Variation listings should scare you. The number that was up on the ASIN Zen or Seller Ramp or Rev Seller or whatever you're saying that 3,000 estimated sales is not how many sales this individual variation is getting. That is one of the biggest misconceptions I've seen on every single platform, right? So in the way that I determined whether or not something is a good variation is based on the ratings and the reviews, right? I don't know what the science is, and and what how many reviews does it take? How many sales does it take to get a review? It's a lot. I don't know about how you guys. I've sold just shy of 30,000 products, and I've gotten 80 reviews. So the stats aren't great. So you got to think. So if this product has gotten 40% of the reviews, usually tells me that this variation right here is a hot selling variation. However, like Logan had said, that variation is suppressed. That listing is probably going to get a little bit less sales just because there is no active buy box. And then you kind of scroll down, you have the 25% variation, you have the 18% variation, 11% variation, then you have the 6% variation. So this listing, hypothetically, right, is getting 6% of the 3,800 sales. So there was a product that I sold on online arbitrage. It was 2 years ago on Christmas. I found a basketball. It was a Wilson basketball. I sold it. It was a hot selling variation. I did. It was actually a Keepa tutorial, very much like this. And someone saw the same basketball. However, it was a different variation, and they went really deep on it. And it was like a $75 basketball. They did not know about variations, and they bought, I don't know, way too many. And they're like, my product's not selling. I don't understand why. I'm like, well, what? I mean, what are you talking about, man? And I'm like, send me the ASIN, send me the ASIN. I'm like, oh my god. He said he basically bought one that gets less than 1% of the sales. And I'm like, dude, you were going to be holding on this product forever. Like that's the dangerous part of looking at only seats or only ASIN Zen, or not looking at Keepas, really making sure that variation has enough sales for you to actually make money. Right, there is a lot of items that are on seats that tools are hard sell, man. I'm learning this as I go. There could be 50 different variations for one product on seats, and you might have like the second most popular variation, but it's still there. You got to think there's different sizes for the actual tool. It's a very specific size that someone needs. So your audience of actually selling the tool might be a little harder. So keep on going, Logan.
Yeah, so we were looking, this was something I found actually the other day on seats, which it was out of stock at the time, but this supplier takes back orders, which is something, probably not a lot of partners, try to take in consideration on the supply. But this is from 9/15. And once I saw that they took back orders, I was like, you know what? I think someone's actually going to see what I see here. And so if you go in on seats, you'll see this product here is showing out of stock. But the seats price is $13.46. So if you come over here, right now this current price is showing, you're making almost 20% return on investment. To me, that's solid. You don't have a lot of competition on it right now. It's got a solid bestseller rank. So now we got to go down and check out, Keepa, because like I said, Keepa tells a story. Keepa, explains everything on Amazon. It explains the entire product. So if I'm looking here in the last 3 months, Amazon was here on the listing. So like I was saying earlier, I like to always go over to data, and it's under product details. And I just look at the 90-day Amazon out of stock, which is, I like to stay in the 60 to 65%. So to me right here, this is something I'll, dabble with. So I come back over here and see, the price has been, relatively around 22 now, with supply changing, it's, gone up to 26 to, back down to 23. If you go over here to the data, I like to use this a lot, buy box statistics. You're looking at the last 30 days. This guy's captured 53% on the buy box, which to me, he's capturing 53% of the sales. That's what I look at $24. The rest, coming in at 22. So I would average out, my, targeted sales price would probably be 22 and a 23 range. I'll be happy if my repricer picks up 24. You can see here on the other sellers coming in at 26. I don't mind that one bit. Looks like everyone's on the same page. So I'm going to come over here, look back at the stats one more time. And what Danny was talking about earlier with the discount tiers, this item went, you can buy 10 at a time. Some people, as you can see right here, they bought 30, 20, 70, 80, that's cool. And then you can see this last partner here, they bought 200. And the reason is, they were able to get a discount down to $12.54. and what I was talking about earlier with this break-even price, not only does the profit go up, but now that makes this lead overall less risky for them to take a loss on it. Now their break-even is 20, 43. And if you come back over here in the last 30 days, you can see not a lot of sellers have touched around that range. So this is telling me, you know what? I should be able to buy X amount of units, get them in, might be a couple months worth of supply, but I know I'm going to make money on it and it's going to sell. If I want to look at the 90-day chart, be a little bit more safe about my purchase if I'm doing a bigger order, let's look over here, 34% at 22, my break even is 20. I'm not seeing that touched on here at all. This is telling me green light. This is something I should capture. I'm getting a good price. You might not be able to get this price again. Let me snag 400 units, if it's selling 100 a month between 3 sellers, because I don't really care for FBM. FBA dominates the entire listings. You can tell over here, it's just I don't really mind FBM because you come in, you're gonna have a bigger stock, you're gonna take over. So I'm gonna come in here at a targeted price, at 20, maybe you get lucky and you can get the 26 range, which obviously if you're able to do that, you're looking at almost $5 profit. Now this partner has the potential to make $1,000 on these 200 units you purchased. So that's just a quick little example of something where you got to look at, yes, it's out of stock at the time, but if you can capture the supply and you can capture the price at the right time and get it prepped and get it in, you can end up turning a listing like this that someone might turn down on C's because it's out of stock. I'm not going to mess with that. It's only a couple bucks profit. Nope. Now this partner has the potential to make $1,000 and he can make it in a couple months or he can make it in less than that. That's just the name of the game. Something now you have to get down to, and just test some listings out. When Danny and I first started out, we sent in items that ended up losing money, and it's just because we didn't know what we're doing. But if we never sent the items in and we never lost some money, we probably never would have, learned the hard way. But it's just the name of the game and just something that you got to keep in mind. Amazon is a platform. The market determines the price. Like I said, Keepa is going to be your best friend. It tells the entire story right here. So you can tell in the last 3 months, this listing has been performing. The best sellers rank has been, slowly decreasing, and the price has been steady and then slowly increasing as well. So this is something that, if I can capture supply at a good price, I'm going to do it and I'm going to send it in. And I don't care if I have to sell it. If I'm selling items for 3-4 months, that's me making money on that one item, that one ASIN for 3 to 4 months. Now let me do that on 10 to 15 more, rinse and repeat. That's how you can start to build, that's how you start to build the cash flow. That's how you start to build, sales and starting turning different ASINs and, going in larger orders because it makes sense because you're capturing supply and at a good price. So something to keep in mind.
There's also something I want to mention is, for instance, on this listing per se, I mean, it wouldn't really apply for this listing, but I've seen a lot of partners do this. I don't know, I saw all different types of FBA calculators put on the thing. I've seen Buybot or Buybot Pro. I saw Ace and Zen. I saw SellerAmp. I saw RevSeller. I saw they use Seats. I've seen Amazon Revenue Calculator. I've seen a whole bunch of different tools being used. I think it is so important, right? So I know Ace and Zen. That's the one I'm familiar with. You see where it says ship weight 0.95 pounds. That I cannot tell you how important that is. If this is too much, if this weighs too much, you see this inbound shipping cost, this is going to go up. If you do not have this set on your calculators, do it. On Ace and Zen, you basically just go up to the little settings thing, you go to calculator settings and you find your inbound shipping, there it is. And you go to edit and you set this 30 cents. That's roughly how much you should add on. And you can play with this number. Honestly, when I was doing OA, this was closer to 50 cents. And the reason is because your shipments on an arbitrage are typically a little bit smaller and it costs more to send in. But if you want to build in, you're building in some essentially this will save you. I've seen partners buy paint or gallons of pesticides on Discord. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, they have no idea. I mean, the profit shows like a $7 or $8 profit. I'm like, I'm seeing, I'm doing like the research. I'm like, there's like a $6 loss on every item sold. You're hitting a 60% loss. And honestly, it's so important. And honestly, that the $6 loss or that $6 inbound fee, that will probably be reduced if you have enough quantity, because most likely you're going to go on a pallet, right? If you get anything pallet, and this goes across for any partner. If you buy enough where you get a pallet, I'm telling you, your inbound shipping is going to be pennies. I had bought, it was one of my big first wins, or my big win on eCom was I bought 2 pallets of a product. And based on my inbound shipping, I was expecting that of $500 or $600 in shipping, inbound shipping. Because they were able to put it on 2 pallets, it was $100 for 3,000 products. It was great. I mean, I made more money. So that's always something to, keep in mind. Ship weight is this. And also something there is, and I saw it was on the Discord. I don't remember who exactly who it was, or when it was. It was an item that was sent in. I think it was a Milwaukee product. When he bought the product, there was profit on the product. It showed profit, and then he got the item into Amazon, and all of a sudden the product is no longer profitable. And I was looking at Ace and Zen, I was looking at SellerAmp, I was looking at all the different things, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me of why this product was no longer profitable. All the numbers were exactly the same. What ended up happening was someone, depending on how you pack and prep your items, and this doesn't apply to eCom, it applies to freaking everybody. If you pack your product wrong and you put it into a bigger box, let's say this item was in a box, and that's how the Amazon scanned your item in, is now that basically you see where it says dimensions 9.24 by 199 by 199. His item went from like, I think it was a 9x3 product by maybe a quarter inch thick to a 19 by 11 item, and now 3 inches. Like he went basically from a $2 or $3 profit to a negative $2 profit. Is because the item was basically scanned in wrong. So there is something you actually can do on Amazon. And honestly, you have up to 20 times a month you can do it. I think what's it called? It's called a cubic scan. So if you go to your seller profile and you go to the little search bar, you type in cubic scan, you can put 20 ASINs in there a month. And honestly, I do it randomly. I sold backpacks in the summer of 2022. And one of the backpacks I basically sent in was the profit was a lot lower. I had them rescan it. Amazon ended up giving me back almost $2,000 because they had the dimensions of the product wrong. They basically credit all that money back to me. However, this only will work for one person. So let's say Kim has a backpack that is, Kim is selling the same backpack as I am. I go on and I put a cubic scan. I get the dimensions right. I get the money. Kim will not. So it's basically you want to make sure that you scan these products and you do it, and you have the ability to do it up to 20 times a month. All right.
You just have to have active inventory on it though, in order to do
That's
this
true.
cubic scan.
Yeah.
So they can actually take the product and scan it.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
Let's see here. Oh, it's just a few little basic things we kind of touched on, and like Danny was saying earlier with variations, yeah, if it shows 2,000 sales a month, but has 15 different variations, that's, you got to really look into that. So try to avoid listings with a lot of that. Estimated monthly sales, a lot of people, obviously I want the home run too. I used to go on Seats and look for, filter this, filter that, I guarantee you that those items go before you can even think about sourcing them, just because that's just the name of the game. There's over millions of sellers doing the same thing we're doing. So just kind of look for items that's doing at least 30, 30 sales a month, because that to me shows it moves, a month's worth of supply. And then you just have to look, is there 30, 30 sellers on the listing, or is it moving 30, 30 units a month with 3 sellers on the listing? If it's, low competition, decent sales, I'm going to jump on that, because, you're not going to source game winning products every day. It's just not possible. And if you are, you let me know and you show me the way, because I don't know anyone that has yet. We have a member in Profit Pings that just, goes crazy on Walmart leads and whatnot and Amazon, and he dropped, almost $100,000 on one item, and he sold, 1,200 units in 3 hours or something like that.
Yep.
It's just, you just got to, you got to know.
The
He just
velocity
looked at
game.
Keepa. Yeah, I'm saying he just looked at Keepa. He looked at the listing. He knows it's a high selling listing, and he captures supply at the right time at a decent price. He's not making, $4, $5, $6, but making $1, $2 after everything's said and done with prep, selling 1,200 units in 3 hours. Yeah, sign me up for that, but you're not always going to get those. He got that just off a ping within the Discord, and that's, through Amazon, and that's just capturing supply at the right time, which Danny was able to do with, the salt listing and whatnot on the platform. And he was able to look at, Keepa and said, oh, well, this has been selling XYZ. Let me see how much of the supply I can capture. He captured how much he thought he could stomach, and he went in there and got a home run. Could have went sideways and could have went the way it did, and it did. So it's just something to keep in mind. Stay away from listings with over. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think there's also something to be said. So, like, number of sellers, right? So I definitely pay attention to that, and a lot in wholesale. So you got to think that, like, a lot of people that I've seen in the Discord and in other groups as well is like, oh, I bought this listing because it was on a group, and all of a sudden it tanked, right? I hear it all the time. Oh, the pricing went down. Like, why is the price not staying consistent? And I also want to say there was someone somewhere, I don't remember exactly. I'm not going to say names or who it was, but, like, you cannot communicate with other buyers or other sellers and say, hey, this is what I want your price to be. You can't do it. It's extremely illegal. Um, we got to be really careful about that. But, like, I think one of the things is when you're talking about number of sellers is, eCom members are also, or other suppliers are also getting the same supply as what eCom members get. So that's something to take into account, is we're not the only sellers on these individual listings. So knowing how many, for wholesale, I like to say, 10 to 15 realistically. OA, I'll go up to 50 depending on the actual the how hyped up the product is. And that's really important. And then also with, kind of going back to variations, I think variations can be extremely, scary, but it's also, they can be a real big home run, and I really like, if you're willing to dive into a product that has a lot of variations, you want to make sure there's enough velocity there, right? So if you have an estimated sales, let's say there's estimated sales is like 200 and there's 10 different variations, you might only get 1 or 2 sales a month on the individual listing. And that's, for me, that's not enough. If you want to make money. And in the name of the game in this is volume and cash flow, right? Is how can I spend more money and basically to get more products to have better cash flow? Look, that's what everyone's trying to figure out, right? I've seen people toss out like, oh, I want to get the Amazon loan, I have credit cards. Everyone's model's a little different, right? Um, that being said, is if you're able to capture, kind of like what Logan said, in order to capture the buy box a little bit more frequently, you got to have more units. That's why you see Amazon a lot of times dominate some of these listings, but they get 1,000 in stock. Or you have, there is a way to clone or cloak your listing if you're FBM, which we've all seen it, where people put 1,000 in stock. They don't have 1,000 in stock, but they occupy the buy box, get their sales, and then they turn the listing off. But there's things that, like, to really stay in look of. Go ahead, Logan.
Yep, and then touching on the buy box, like we'll get here in a little bit. Always make sure there's a buy box, especially with wholesale, because we don't want to be holding on to stuff. We don't want to look at a listing and show 2,000-3,000 sales a month, and the buy box is suppressed, because I guarantee you that you're not going to get that. It definitely showing you sales data at when the buy box was active and or when it was definitely at a lower price, because that's most likely the reason why it was suppressed. And then, like Danny was saying earlier, weight and size is huge. If you're gonna buy paint cans, that's fine. If they're gonna weigh 5 gallons, that's fine. But you need to make sure that your profit margins are there with inbound, and if it's showing $6 to $8 on inbound shipping, buy enough units and say, hey, let's send this in on a pallet. I guarantee you that's gonna cut it in half, maybe even more, just depending on how many units you want to get in on a pallet and how well you can determine your margins on it. But for now, if you're a newer seller, stay away from glass, stay away from just stuff that just going to cause you harm. If you're in the what is it, the dangerous good program, if you buy spray paint and stuff like that, you risk it exploding on you. It's just something you can't avoid.
Just happened.
Like I was, yeah, that happened to you. Something I was talking about earlier. I like to sell on listings with Amazon. One of my best selling products that I still sell, OA related, I sell with Amazon. They don't mind sharing the listing because they can't hold supply. So whenever I'm looking at listings, try to stay around. Some people say 50%, but I'm not gonna shoot the shits with Amazon on 50% when it comes to wholesale. Once we buy something, we're responsible for it. We get returns on it. It comes damaged. That's just the name of the game. There's nothing we can do on it. So I would say try to stay 65% or above on the 90-day chart. That's where I was showing you on Keepa, where you would go under data right here. And under product details, I always look at this and come down. And I know it's a lot, but you don't need too much. This is the name right here, Where is it? Amazon, 90-day out of stock, 60%. Like I was saying earlier, that's right up my ballpark. You can see right here, they were on, from October to November, they had, a month's worth of supply, didn't last. That also tells me that's a good sign, So something to keep in mind is, making sure that Amazon is at least out of stock on the 90 days, 65% or better. The more the better, because that just, that's why me and Danny like to sell a lot of Nike stuff. Amazon is, not allowed to legally sell anything Nike related. So we already know we can check Amazon out and we don't have to worry about them being a competitor because this is their platform. Profit margins. I know a lot of people like to look for, a certain percentage, which, obviously I would love to run my wholesale business at 20%, 30% margins, but that's just not something you can do consistently, just depending on how the platform works. So I kind of like to focus in more on the profit margin. I mean, what would you say, Danny? I say 3 is a pretty nice cushion.
3, I mean, you kind of have to have some margin built in, and I think it's also really important you go in thinking, hey, this product could move down $1.50 or $2. Is this still a good buy, right? And if you say, well, if I buy $1.50, if I have $1.50 profit margin, even though it's a 50% ROI, if it drops $1.50, you're not making no money, right? So almost kind of expect, everyone in this group right now has had a product that's tanked, or more. We've all had it, right? It's inevitable. However, if we build enough profit margin into actual buys, it's going to help you a lot better. At $3 to $5, the more the merrier. I mean, the more profit you have up front, it's going to help you, longer term. And that really goes into why I wanted to start these quantity discounts, because in order to get more supply out on these individual listings, you have better pricing, and better pricing is going to make it more profitable. It's just like it's all part of it.
The next one is the obviously, like everyone says, by the time I get my products into Amazon checked in, 30 more sellers jumped on my listing. Like Danny was saying, it's a competitive platform, something you just can't control. Something you need to look on Keepa. I think what's it called? This one here is usually a pretty good one. But if you look at a year chart, like right here, it was selling at one point for, $38, $39. I remember I was selling it for that at one point. And then if you look at, during that time, if you look at that rise right there in sellers, I mean, obviously, look, you can just see it drops down. It's one of those listings. And then you can see those people who held out, who might have, just stuck it out on the storage fees. You can see now the supply couldn't hold, drops back down. And now you go right back up, and it was selling for, over 32, 33, which was $3 a unit. You're selling 50 to 100 units maybe a day. Sign me up. That's all day. I'll go for that. You can easily find that wholesale related as well. But that's just something to keep in mind. You will see a rise in sellers, but if you do your keep analysis right, and hey, it did this 3 months ago, but supply only lasted for 2 months. If I can just pay XYZ in storage fees, I'll still make XYZ on per unit. And, that's how you have to factor it in. You're not going to pay a lot of storage fees if you're sourcing stuff that's lighter, like grocery items. I love it. That's the bread and butter for me. Honestly, it's one of the items that sells consistently on Amazon, usually doesn't go over $60,000, $70,000 on the bestseller rank, which is good for us sellers. And it's not stuff that weighs a lot. It's not paint cans. It's not tools. It's not, it's not the weird stuff like that. So kind of always keep that in mind with the sellers. They might jump on your listing. It's just the name of the game. But if you did your keep analysis right, and you hold out, and you're not paying XYZ in storage fees, it makes sense to hold out on supply. Like I was just saying, focus on lower cost goods. Obviously a lot of us, all we want is just unlimited cash, because we have access to way more supply than any of us have cash, even if we all won the lottery, a couple times, if I'm being honest. So you got to, prioritize, low cost goods. You don't want to buy something that costs $50 a unit. You don't want to buy 10 of them. It's just going to lock up, cash flow that you could spread out between, 13 or 14 different ASINs that you could buy maybe 100 to 200 units on each one and capture supply for a couple months, making, $300, $400, $500 per month per ASIN. You have 10, 15 of those, turn those a few months. That's how you get your cash flow going. That's how you start building it up.
I think that, the lower cost goods, I think, if there is, I'm kind of impartial to that. I think if there is a item that is $40, $50, $60, $70 cost, but the profit is basically $5 profit. That's kind of what I'm shooting for, right? I'm going to jump on it, right? However, that velocity of sales has to be there, right? Because when you start spending more money, you have a lot more tied up into it, right? And it really, honestly, I've seen people get bogged down by products that either the buy box gets suppressed because the price is too inflated, or they have too much inventory of one individual product, and that product now 10 people are on that listing that you thought was going to be your home run. And honestly, what happens is you get you get strapped for your cash flow. And cash flow for us is, I mean, it's everything. It's, you have to have money to be able to play in this game. So
Another big one is product categories. You know, obviously this is more OA related here, but obviously, like we were saying, focus on smaller, lighter items. Beauty's really good. Yes, you might get returns. Some beauty items they actually can't return, so that's kind of some pros and cons to that. Home, household products, office supplies, and then seasonal items are everything. You know, obviously Christmas. What, Danny? I found that one 500 units for you of that Minecraft thing that ended up being a home run for Christmas, right?
do you have that pulled up?
I think I do.
So Logan, when he was Logan was suspended, and Logan needed to unload some of his products because he wasn't sure he was ever going to get his count back, and he basically he was like, "Hey, I got this product. You know, the invoice just came in. Can you help me out?" I don't know how much it was. It was like a $2,000 invoice that he sent me over. I'm like, I'll take care of it. It was at eCom already. I'm like, okay, I'll take it, whatever. This has been, honestly, this saved one of my Q4 because I really didn't go. I kind of lost track of time. And you know, this is something that he said, I don't remember the purchase price, $4 or $5 or something like that. And basically been selling this at anywhere from I've actually been selling some of these for like $27. But most of it's been about $17, $18. So you can see here, I basically been hitting almost 100% ROI on this, and this was found on Seats. Logan found this. I just basically, you know, I got lucky. Logan basically did the sourcing for me, and these are basically in hopes. I don't know why the buy box is going or the BSR. That's weird. But this thing is selling, you know, a lot. I've sold probably 300 of them so far. And you know, you can see that one peak right there. That little spike that's on the oh, right there. That's me. Yeah, there's me. 2782. There's me.
Captured the sale, yeah.
Yeah. So I was getting $13 profit on that right there, and I ended up getting probably like 20 or 30 sales right there. But you can see is, you know, these are the different you know, different opportunities that we want to start kind of offering. I mean, toys, of course, you know, Q4 here, toys usually a pretty hot product. One of the things I also want to do is, Logan, you want to just pop over into just Seats?
Yep.
And then basically start playing with some of the, go to just filter, right? Sourcing Seats. So one of the big questions I always get is, what do you use? How do you find your products, right? So you look here and, you know, how you play with filters. So we have 72,500 products to play with right here, right? So typically, so I do this in a couple different ways, right? And honestly, I use Seats. I go through the filters of what I filter probably once or twice a week. And I kind of, I pull it up, I find the stuff, I'm like, I pop it in, I open a bunch of different browsers, and I basically go to a town on Keepa and I determine if it's something that I want to buy. I throw it in mission control. I wait a day. I don't buy anything. I put it in mission control. I come back to mission control a day later. I double check my research, make sure everything's good and how I want it to do. And I don't get trigger happy. And then I decide if I want to buy. So what I do in terms of my filters is I play with max sales rank and average sales rank. You know, it's really the same for me. I play with 50,000 up to 100,000. Let's just put 75,000. 75,000 minimum FBA profit. Yeah, is I like that. I do 3, but and then I sometimes play with minimum ROI. It depends if I want to put if I'm putting FBA profit, I usually stay away from ROI, and if I put ROI, I kind of stay away from profit. So in this case, I'm just gonna put $3, right? And then I do in stock all, everything else is fine. And I don't touch anything else. I just put search. So now I'm gonna have 660 products to kind of scroll through, right? And I very quickly look at this, right? So I don't really look at averagely, when I first started, and on one of my onboarding calls, we were talking about average lead time and MOQ and all this stuff. And honestly, it confused the crap out of me, right? And I was like, what do you mean the average lead time is this? It's NA. I didn't understand what things. Honestly, I look up if it's in stock, out of stock. I see if any other partners bought it, and I see like, is this a good thing? Like, for instance, this first listing, right? If I had to guess, this is a 1988 price. I'm guessing this is like a quantity pack. Yes, it's a quantity pack 4 of some item, $4 profit. I'd open up a new window. I go down. I see this next one is $4, $71 thing, $3 profit, 39,000 sales rank. Boom, up in a new window. And honestly, this is how I source. I basically pop this up and then I kind of go in one by one. I see this one, 620, $3 profit. So these are all basically, and I basically filter them. One thing I do stay away from on eCom on seats per se is heavy multi-packs. For one big reason, the inbound shipping is going to kill me, right? And typically when I see a 6-pack or a 4-pack or a 12-pack, typically it's not the most popular variation. So I almost, when I'm looking through seats, I kind of just skip those, right? Glass, skip, no way. I look for seasonal items. We still can send meltables in, take up that opportunity. I'm selling a ton of like random chocolates. I'm selling a ton of jelly bean stuff. Canned goods. I found some really good wins. Canned goods is heavy, and I'm just like, I'm so, and not only is it heavy, your weight of your storage fees of when they're at Amazon is also going to be a little higher. And there's also something, Logan, can you pop over to just a random Amazon listing, just pull up one of these, is go to your calculator settings and go to storage fees. Monthly storage fee, FBA. It's like up right there. So Logan sets his for 2 months. I think mine's exactly that. So it's important to set these, right? The storage fees is not going to be astronomical. However, it's going to be some. You're not going to sell your full. Granted, this listing right here looks phenomenal. To be honest, I don't know if this is a variation listing or not, but this basically showing me that this listing is going to cost me 30 cents an item per month. So if you have a supply of 5,000, that's a lot. Let's say it's 500 units at 30 cents. It's $150 just to have it at Amazon for every month that is there. And you're hopefully you're selling through your supply, but like the reason I factor it in and it automatically adds these in for me because it gives me a little bit more basically padding for my profit. Without this, if I didn't have my inbound and if I didn't have my storage fees, I'm sourcing with data that's not 100% accurate, right? I also source, or I don't do it as much. My online arbitrage model, my business, I've not done ever since I kind of went to eCom. I've really tailored off of OA and kind of started doing this whole time, a lot. But there's also something you could do is go over to go to the custom calculator settings again, go to the custom costs. So there's in every calculator is different, right? And I'm almost positive that all the different calculators can offer this. Where is it? Manage custom costs. Yeah, and then you open. Yep. It's gonna open in just a new window. It's fine.
There it is.
So you can see right here. So you can add your own type of prep fees. And honestly, if you're a new seller, I'm saying new seller, 18 months or less, right? Add your own prep, add a different custom fee, right? And the reason I'm doing this, it will make you source better. If you can add $1, basically you're adding $1 profit into your buys, right? That way you're a little bit more reserved on what you're buying, but at the end of the day, you're going to make a little bit more money on the back end, right? And it's going to allow you to make better buys. For the longest time, I kept my prep in, and the way that it does is $1.55. And then it also adds in the inbound shipping and stuff like that for you. That gives you, a rough idea. So my prep for my OA business, it ranges. I just basically, just to kind of put things in perspective, I think I paid $6,000 for eCom for the year. I just paid my online arbitrage prep center $2,000 just for the prep for just the 2,000 items I just sent them. Think about that. We have it so I'm like I'm sending her the $2,000. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this is gonna be gone in like a month, and I'm gonna have to pay this again. But custom costs, prep fees, storage fees, calculator settings, these are invaluable. You have to set them. And I don't know how to do it on RevSeller. I don't know how to do it on BuyBot. SellerAmp, I know I think it's pretty easy, is on there as well. But on ASIN's end, this is how you do it. You must add those factors in. It's going to help you source better. And then it's also going to help you determine, like, stay away from heavy. You don't have to stay away from heavy. Just make sure you have your inbound on. That way you're factoring in that, like, it may cost you $2 to send this item in. And then let's actually look at this item. What does this buy cost?
Let's see. We're looking at 471.
Okay, so this is actually a good listing to look at. So let's scroll out the all time, and then turn on. That's interesting. All right, so this is a very similar listing of I would jumped on, and I basically, is this Amazon Fresh or is this Whole Foods?
Whole Foods, I think. Or no, Amazon Fresh.
Let me see. Do they charge shipping for their order? No, they don't. Fuck. Okay. If this was Whole Foods, I would tell you to list your product, to buy this and list this at $12 and something changed. However, it's Amazon Fresh. They do free delivery. And we're not, they're occupying that buy box at $3.79. It looks like, or right? Am I looking at that correct?
They only get free delivery if they do it over 50. So that's why this guy's getting buy
Oh,
box.
shit, there you go.
Right now.
Westlake, I see him. He's on all my listings, so he's another. Here's the thing. So $9.99. There's not enough margin there for me. 10 cents. That's definitely not enough for me. However, this is a listing that could be interesting. It looks. If we look back at a month. Why do you have eBay on?
That's a good question.
And we basically see, I mean, this is interesting listing, but not the one that I would probably jump on. If the price was higher, I'd probably jump all over it. The velocity of sales is definitely intriguing. If I was able to get this for, if I could make some type, at least 20% margin, I would definitely jump on it. That'd be an interesting listing. But like, for instance, this is how I essentially source. I pull up all these. This is a 4-pack listing. How much is that? $19, not enough profit. Pretty consistent though. Pretty consistent. And there's something that Logan and I throw out the terminology as inflated buy box. What is an inflated buy box? Inflated buy box is like the price is consistent, and all of a sudden, boom, it jumps up, right? And it's it's $3 or $4 higher, right? Those are basically tabled listings for me. I don't buy them right away. I let them play out. I kind of want to see if the buy boxes come back down to like normal play. I looked at factors. Is the seller count dropping? If the seller count is dropping and the price is rising, okay, I'm interested. However, I want to be cautious of buying that, expecting to sell it at this inflated price in order to make a profit. I basically look back and I look at the consistency of the price prior to the buy box getting inflated. And I'd say, hey, is there margin for me to make money, right? So if it's selling at 6, like for instance, is that a good I can't even see it. It's basically selling consistently at.
It was selling consistently at like $34.99, and now it's inflated more at 37.
Yeah, and honestly, that inflated that's not enough, for me. When I see the big jumps, it's like a $3 jump, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to. I don't want to base my profits based off this inflated buy box. Okay, right there. This is pretty inflated. So this guy's occupying the buy box. There's the 30-day mark.
That's the 90-day. Yeah, if you want to get more, realistic or kind of, safer on your purchase, I would look at a 90-day chart.
Yeah, 90-day. Because you got to think, the product gets to eCom preps and packs the item, sends it into Amazon. From the time you buy it to the time it actually gets there, it could be a month. Right. Sometimes less, sometimes it's at the warehouse, and and I will say, Jason sent me it was on Discord. It was at a warehouse listing. If you see those on Discord, keep your eyes peeled. Those are some really good listings. Some of them are not so good. Some of them are really good. He sent me It was on Discord like a week ago. It was at the warehouse. It was a degree. It was like a 3-pack deodorant for Degree or something. It was like a gift set. Oh my God. I don't know what I bought it for. It was $15 over a gift set or whatever like that. I've been selling it at $20.99. I've sold almost 50 of them all in a couple days because the price is consistent based on when he sent it to me. So those are some home run listings.
Yeah, you want to show them the one that we stumbled across earlier? That was a really good seats purchase.
Yeah. What is it? That tool thing?
This one right here. Let's see.
And this is what I do. Like, and right now I don't know how many people are on this call right now, but like, I would love to be able to. Look, there's always this fear of sharing product information with other sellers. Oh my God, they're going to buy my product, they're going to take my listing, right? I mean, it could happen, but I would love to be able to chat with you guys on Discord, Facebook, whatever that, and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Right? I have like a group I share with Paris. I sent it with Logan. I sent it with Zach, a couple other guys on Discord, and I basically, hey, I found a really good deal. I'm not on Savvy, so I'm like, hey, this is a really good deal. Check it out. It could be really good on Savvy. It's great on Seats. Buy it up. And this is one of them. I actually bought 100 of these, so and I think Logan did too.
Yeah, yeah, you see the seats price right here is $18.95, so I'm gonna go check it out, wherever the hell it is. Oh, gosh,
Listings open.
I guess I lost it. Oh, well, that's why we love seats. Pulls it right up for us. So we come over here, seats price is $18.95. $9.15 again. Go over here and plug this in. Now a lot is gonna be, that's something not up my lane, but this is why I really love this listing right here. Boom. You come down here and you see the consistency here. And you can tell, if you come over here and you go on buy box. Come on.
You're like struggling. Maybe that
Yeah,
PC.
doesn't love it. Yeah. Well, you can tell here, I mean, even on the 3-month chart, you can tell here, spend a solid $27, $28, I want to come back over here. Perfect. There we go. If you look at a 90-day chart, you can see, yes, he's captured a lot of the buy box sales, but what I like to look at a lot is on this right side. This is how you tell if a buy box rotates. So whenever you say buy box is in rotation, this is meaning, it's rotating between sellers, which you can see he's won it 2 weeks ago, a couple of days ago, a few months ago, which obviously these are, your top guys here, these top 3. So, you could think you could come in and capture sales at 27, 28 range, and this is what you would, be making per unit. And that's why we are liking this kind of tier discount because, I'd say you're really liking it. Say you can get a discount down to $18 a unit if you buy 100 of them, now that makes your break even down to 25 and you come back over here, you're looking at a 90-day chart. You're not seeing 25 on here. So I don't mind if I got to hold it for a couple months because I know in that couple months, I'm going to be making at least $2 to $3 based on the fees, and even right now, the fees are even jacked up a little bit more being the peak season. So, this is something that I liked and I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy 100 units. Danny bought 100 units. This is something we went in on. And, if you guys like it, it's on Seats, it's in stock, go place somewhere, we're going to check it out, and then obviously we'll do the final, look with the supplier and make sure that, it's on hand with them since supply changes day in and day out. That's just something that we can't control. It's something that we are working on now and just trying to, hey, this is our, this is what's on Seats. This is what I'm finding. Let's see if you guys like it too. That's why I'm thinking, Q1 and Q2, I think everyone's going to be gearing back up. And so I'm pretty excited for it because, like I said, I mean, I'm finding stuff like this on Seats. Danny found the item that made him, almost 50 grand in a few months or less, he found it on Seats. The items are there. What could be shown today could be different tomorrow. And, you really just got to come down to your Keepa analysis. All right, well, if I can capture this, if I can capture 200 units at a discounted price at $18 and I can make this, and now I know my break evens in the 25 range, I'm like, you know what, this is kind of risk free. Yeah, it might not sell as fast as it's showing. Maybe it's not moving almost 300 units a month between the 4 sellers, but we don't really know that until we test it. I've gone in on listings that showed less sales per month and it moved faster. It's just something that you can't control. It's just you're on a platform and this is sales data. So at the end of the day, you don't know how well something sells until you send it in and you start selling it or you don't. It's just how it is. There's no way around it. So that's just something to keep in mind, but this is literally just something I came across on Seats, and I might have been on the 6th or 7th or 8th page before I found this, I mean, this was added all the way back in here, before, it looks like a couple of partners found it here earlier in December, but last purchase was back in October. No one's, found it or seen it since, because I guarantee you it's because I found it on the 8th page, It's just something that, we can only do so much and, add in so much supply, but, us as a partners, that's what Danny's talking about with the community. It's like, hey, if I came across this on Seats, ping me if you don't want to, share it to the group, or, ping me privately and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying 300 units of this. What do you think? All right, well, I'll tell you X, Y, Z, buy it. I don't know. It's just, that's what Discord's here is. That's what the community is. That's why it's called partners. We're trying to come here. We're trying to attack all the supply together. So, you can sit here and kind of do the OA sourcing and, buy 12, 20, 30 units. I think it's neat how they set up Seats in that way. Or, you can try to hopefully get your feet wet and try to, get some more sales turning and some discounts, hopefully start buying, maybe 50 to 100 units at a time, buy maybe, 5 to 10 different ASINs on, 50 to 100 units each, spread it all out, aim to make $2 to $3 on each one, and have it maybe, a couple months supply each. And that's how you turn in numbers, I don't think anyone should be expecting to spend, 10 grand 1 month and make 5 grand back. I mean, it's just not, not something a lot of people do. It is possible to do, but that's just a one in a lifetime kind of thing, especially on this platform for how competitive it is.
And
What do you think?
I also want to say is like, if, like Logan said, if there is a product that you find, feel free to hit up, Jason or even Logan or Keith, and just be like, hey, if I buy X amount, is there a better price I can get? I'm not speaking for them, but I know they'll they can work with you. That's number one. The other thing is, if there's a product that you are looking at to potentially buy, feel free to hit me, Zach up. Zach's on here somewhere, or Logan, and be like, hey, is this a good buy? Right? I have probably, not even kidding, probably 50 windows open on Discord on any given day. And it's people that are just messaging me, OA, wholesale, hey man, is this a good buy? Right? I look at it and I can look at a Keepa chart within 20 seconds. Just give me the ASIN, give me the buy cost. I don't need to know the source. I don't know where you got it. I don't care. I can tell you, like, hey, I'd probably get my feet wet. I would buy X amount of units. My type of model is, you hear this a lot. You hear going deep or going wide, right? You hear that pretty thrown out pretty loosely. And what it is I like buying a lot of one unit and moving on. I don't like buying 10 to 20 multiple units and going like that. Does it have its ups and downs? Absolutely. I'm stuck with a product right now that has tanked the high hell. I was expecting to sell it at 11. It's selling at 7. I think my buy cost is 5. And right now there's like a 30% loss if I sell it at the 7. It's going to happen, right? We all have those listings. We all have them. It's inevitable. You're going to watch tons of webinars and podcasts and shit that people post on Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and all these things, and the multi-million-dollar sellers, and they're not pulling losses. It's bullshit. We all have bad buys. However, take this opportunity. If we're in Q4, we're 5 days to Christmas. If you have toys and you're only going to take $1 loss, unload them now. This is the time to unload your stuff. You are going to sell all of your product. There's no downside. I mean, look, the downside is you're gonna lose money, but there's nothing bad about taking a loss on some items, right? It's part of it. Nothing's worth, for instance, those 500 products. I think it's $1,500 or $1,600 worth of product I bought. Yeah, it's a lot of money, right? However, sitting at my inventory at 468 units is doing me no good, right? I better just unload it, get rid of it, sell it, move on, put that money into something else and find something better to buy, right? And I think that's something to be said. I know we're running over it, so one of the things I would like to do is, and Daniel said, will this be recorded? Yeah, I'm actually recording now. But one of the things I would like to do is, if there's any questions, ultimately, I think a lot of us have probably a lot of unanswered questions. I almost kind of wanted to do this as like a weekly thing. And I have like I said, I have a Discord group that I also run. I'm also thinking about opening up to them, really just becoming like a more of a community of people selling on Amazon. We're all in the same boat together. We all want to make money. Whether this is someone's full-time gig or their part-time gig, or they do this only a couple hours a week. I think there's knowledge and, having a community of people that get together and learn how to make money selling on Amazon, and also just talk about, shoot the shit and understand the business as a whole, because I can tell you that there are hundreds of thousands of finds that I've found on things. I've had a lot of success with eCom so far. Some of you guys know it. I think a couple of months ago, me and Jason jumped on a call and we went over like kind of like a series that we talked about. But essentially, it's kind of like Logan said. So I found a product. It was initially, I found it on Seats. It was the salt craze that everyone was going after, and I think Keith had talked about it was discontinued or whatever. So I found the product initially on Seats. I bought 400 units. I was on vacation. I was up in New York, and that product was selling. I thought something was wrong. I pinged Logan, and I was like, Logan, I think someone's trying to rip me off. He's like, why? I'm like, dude, I'm getting way too many sales. And he was like, what's the rank? And the rank was like a 30 rank in grocery. I think it was a specialty grocery. The product went viral on TikTok, and I ended up selling 3,000 units in 2 weeks at a 600% ROI. And I ended up making $48,000 in 3 weeks. My biggest win, it was a huge win. It was a massive thing. And honestly, that was just a product I randomly found on Seats. I got extremely lucky. I'm telling you, this is a one in a lifetime thing. But the thing is, it's without looking on Seats on a constant basis, I probably would have never found this. And the only reason I did find this is I found a product that it was just going through the Seats platform. I saw it and like, one of them was out of stock, but the profit was just astronomical. It was like a $9 profit. I'm like, what is this brand? So what I did was I went to Deer Portal, the BCD, and I typed in the searching and I typed the brand name, and it showed up all the different products that were in stock with the brand. I'm like, this is interesting. I was like, that there's one more product that has a lot. There was, I think, 3,400 units available. That's what it said in the thing. I said, all right, I'm buying all of them. Bought all of them and didn't hear anything. It kind of went silent for like 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden I get an email saying, hey, the units are arrived and you want them to send them all in. I'm like, hell yeah, send them in. And literally, no joke, it was on. It was quite a ride. I think there's one day that I ended up selling 1,300 units in a day. It was pretty unbelievable. But that only could happen if I continue to source Seats on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, I mean,
we just landed. There's another one of those that we just landed like 3,000 units. It just popped up. Like, so we tried to get another one of those sea salts, like the Celtic, that brand, Selena.
Yeah.
Like we ordered a bunch last week, but when they invoiced us, so can't get it in time. But like keep like for those sea salts, because that is
Jason, your audio is all screwed up.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I hear you.
There he is. Yeah, I mean, and all it takes is, essentially a listing, one or two listings that are a huge home run. Like for instance, there was another listing. It was posted on Discord as a fiber product. I didn't really understand what I was buying. I still don't know what it is. Never seen it, never touched it, never did anything. And I bought a lot of them. Yeah, I bought a lot of them. I bought 30 of them as a test. They were all sold. I'm like, all right, this is interesting. I bought more. I bought a couple hundred. They sold, and then I bought a couple thousand of them. However, that being said, like, even someone who has done a lot of research and understand Keepa and understand the thing of it, another seller, I don't know, it might be the brand, the owner of the brand or somebody jumped on my listing and they brought the listing down to like the $17 mark. I think my purchase price is $17. So right now I'm just holding product. I have about 400 of them just holding there. But this is part of the process. This is the name of the game. But so there's a lot of people. I mean, look, it's Wednesday night at 9:30, 9:20. I love this stuff. I love helping people make money. So if there's like any questions, if you have a product you're like looking at, like, hey, I'm on the fence, wanting to buy it, I would love to, shoot the shit with you. If there is, questions you have, if you have, look, if you're too embarrassed to, share right now, all good. You can always DM me. I'm on Facebook. The ones that you guys found me on Facebook, my name's Danny Donovan. On Discord, it's Dizzy. I'm always around. Like, honestly, like I'm a night owl, so I'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I made a rule with myself. I think you guys would laugh. I don't buy on Amazon after 10 o'clock. I make some terrible purchases after 10 o'clock. But like I'm always around, so there's no harm there in if you have questions. But yeah, I mean, like, anything. And again, I don't, if there's other questions, how do you feel seat signs are working for us? So Don, I think for me, I use seats pretty much. It's pretty much all I sourced. And the reason I say that recently, I stopped really buying from Discord for a minute there, because I felt I felt like the products that were there were just basically a reflection of whatever was on seats. I was like, there's nothing exclusive here for me to buy, right? So I was really just looking at the ones that I was buying on Discord were basically just in warehouse or some a deal I couldn't give up, right? So now what I do is on seats is I really just go through and I kind of did like kind of what Logan does. I open up a bunch of different windows. I put them in I do a little bit of Keepa research. I pop them in. I throw them into mission control, and I try to do that at least once a week, right? Do I feel like all my buys are wins? No, I don't. But I think that's to be expected. I mean, not everything you buy is going to be 100% home run every time, unless and I think that's the biggest thing to kind of drive in. Like, it's what people say Amazon is you're going to have all these 10, 20, 30% ROI products every single time. It's not always the case. You might have one product that pays for all your losses, right? Unfortunately. But the goal here is to basically get the best price. So that's also one of the major reasons I'm doing this is, do you want to determine the discounts? So Logan, that'd be more of a question for you, but like, I think for me is, if there is, and again, I don't have the logistics side of the business. That's not me. But I think for seats, if you find something that you want to buy more of, and it'd be really a question for Jason and for Logan would be, is if there's a product that you find that you want to buy, and again, I don't know the quantity tiers that would be good for seats, but if you find a product that you want to buy that you want discounts on, ask. I mean, there's no harm in asking. You might say no, but there's also something to be said. If there's multiple partners willing to go in and on ASIN to buy more of the supply, there's a better chance that the price as a whole can come down. Again, that'd be more of a question for them, but
yeah, I mean, the whole idea of seats finds, right, is, I got me, and, obviously it's not just me going through it. This is a lot of items. It's me and a team that's going through this, and we're looking at, items that are, obviously trying to look at items that are in stock. And the whole idea of the seats find is obviously putting more eyes on, what's already within our reach. And then at the same time, if you can see, all right, well, if they're willing to drop it down, 20, 40, 50 cents, if I'm willing to get, 200, 300, the whole idea of those is like, I'm liking this product. I see what you see, can I get this item for, the best possible price, as long as I can capture it, at a reasonable time, meaning, the supplier will be able to get it to me, in a month and stuff like, I don't know. I lost my train of thought there. Basically, the whole idea of the seats find is to try to get, partners on the whole idea of getting, more, minimum order quantities placed versus the whole idea of like, buying 12 to 24 at a time, which obviously, that's how seats is built. You can do that, but you're going to get more discouraged because, one, you're not going to turn as much on the numbers, and two, it might take a little bit longer to get your order because, you got to factor in, this is wholesale. These are wholesale suppliers. If you put in an order for 12, your order of 12 is not just being sent off right to the supplier and say, hey, I need 12 units of this for him right away. It's not how it works. It's not how it'll ever work. Even if you had your own account with the supplier, you have to hit, usually a certain minimum order quantity. So the whole idea of seats is, hey, this is on seats already. You can get access to it, But if you want to buy more units, we'll drop it down a little bit and you can get at this price. And if you don't, that's fine. You can go in on seats and you can buy as many as you want. You can buy 10, you can buy 5, you can buy 20, but you're going to have to pay the seats price. It's just something that we can't control. If you're willing to buy 1,000 units and, and I can, turn around and say, all right, well, we'll make, XYZ on it. And it makes sense for eCom and it makes sense for the partner. That's why we call our partners. We're all partners here. We're trying to work together. Everybody wants to make money. I'm not going to, charge 50 cents markup to somebody just because they want to buy 500 units and it's a 4-pack list. What I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense for anybody to take the time and do all that, So that's kind of the whole idea of Seats Find, is trying to get more eyes on the items that are already in seats that maybe people are overlooking because, oh, it's out of stock, or, I can't get it at this price right now. Well, maybe if you look at Keepa like I did, and I'm looking at, in the next month, you'll get this or whatever, you can attack supply there. Like I was showing that listing earlier where a partner secured 200 units because it made his break even price in a range to where Keepa hasn't shown that in the last 90 days. So now he knows when he gets those 200 units in, there's a high chance he's going to make money no matter what. That's the whole name of the game there with seats. I know I was kind of all over the place there, but I hope that made sense. Jason, what do you say on that, on the reserved inventory bins, on, sending in X amount of units at a time, the warehouse size?
Your volume, your speaker, your volume, your mic game is awful.
Come on, AirPods. Nothing.
Still not working. Maybe just
No.
type it out.
Yeah, you can type it.
Type it out.
From
Talk
my-
about something
yeah.
else.
From what I know, from what I understand, there is, they do offer that. There's, obviously a certain limit to that because we can't have, X amount of partners saying, hey, can you hold 500 units for me? Can you hold, what I'm saying? Obviously that's going to turn into a madhouse real quick. But yes, if you see an item and you want to buy, hey, I want to capture this because I get a good, price. Can I get 500 units? Can you send in 250 right now? See how they perform and send in 250 later. Yes, that is something that they offer. But, obviously it's not something that they're just going to, can offer to everyone solely all the time. But yes, we have the warehouse space. That's why it's there. We are all partners. If you can capture the supply and it all makes sense, why not?
I also think that, like, if, for instance, if there is a product that you come across that's not on Discord, it's on Seats, you find it and you say, like, wow, like the profit is $2 now, sales rank is under 25,000. You're looking at it like, wow, I'd really like to capture more units of this. Instead of going in and just buying 500 units, contact Logan, contact Jason, or contact whoever wants, really Logan or maybe Keith, and be like, hey, this is what I want to buy. Like, is this a possibility? Like, look, we're all in the Amazon realm for a reason. Like, we all like to make money. We're all hustlers in one same game of thing, right? We're all reselling stuff. So if there is margin to be made, even if it's 5% more, right, that's going to help us. I think that's all and basically that's what I wanted to do specifically for Discord. So Discord is what, and my idea, and I pitched this to Jason a while back, and I was like, look, Discord is becoming like a kind of like a seats dump. It's basically all the products are on Seats coming right to Discord. There was no like exclusivity to it. So I was like, how can we make this a little different? Like, how can we make Discord feel like it's a little different from just a feed of products? And I was like, you know what? Let's figure out a way to do, if you buy more quantity, you get a better price. And I was like, well, that's really interesting, because what it allows us to do is find those good products that are already good on Seats and offer them for, a slightly less, per unit, but you got to buy more of them up front. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And again, and it goes back to like the way that my model has always worked is I like buying bulk. So I don't like buying 10 to 20 of an item. I think the only time I'll ever buy that 10 to 20 of an item is if it's a true test buy. And look, and if you're new, if you're under a year selling, you better be test buying. I do not want you buying 100 units of anything. And that's very, very important, because you'll be stuck with product. And also, if you're under 18 months of selling on Amazon, please send me those ASINs. Send me the ASIN, send me the buy cost. Let me know. I will tell you in 2 seconds whether I buy it or not. And if I buy it, I'm telling you to buy, 50, 60 units and be comfortable buying those, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, in order, this is a business for Jason, and it's a business for us. And, and if Jason's making money, we're making money, and vice versa. So, let me
Maybe
know.
my microphone's working.
Oh, you're kind of working there.
Okay, loud and clear.
Yeah.
So, as it relates to, kind of like pricing and like bulk buying, it's actually a lot better for us to take less if it's a bigger buy, because if you think about it, like it really doesn't take that much more time. It takes more time to actually like prep 500 units than it does 12, but everything else takes the same exact amount of time. Like processing the order takes the same amount of time. Um, Creating the shipment actually takes the same exact amount of time. So, if it comes down to like with what Logan and his team are doing, posting the stuff in the seats finds, if it's like between 50 units or 200 units, like we as a company, even if we make a little bit less on the unit cost, we end up making more. Um, I would rather be understaffed in the prep department than overstaffed, if that makes sense. Like I would much rather have more stuff flowing through the warehouse to where you guys are pissed off that we can't get it out in time because we're just so backlogged of big buys than have people standing around, with nothing to do because we pumped out, 12 units of this or 36 units of that doesn't take really all that much time. It's funny actually with that order of your sea salt, um, Danny, we pushed that out like within, like we prepped that in a few hours.
Yeah.
That was 3,000 units like out in a few hours.
Yeah.
Because it's like when it's one product, it's just like sticker, 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 sticker. And if
Yeah, I
it's not
think
a multi-pack, it's so much easier.
yeah, like for instance, my prep center, for instance, when I'm doing OA, they don't even allow anything under was 200 100 units. You can do a shipment if it's under 100 units. They won't even touch it. So you have to
Yeah.
work to 100 units in order for them to even prep it because it's too much work, too much labor, and too much material. I mean, it's a lot of work. Yeah, I don't know how many of you guys have done your own shipments, but it's not fun.
Sucky.
I
Sucky.
hate prep. I hate it
So
with a
sucky.
passion. I'll pay whatever it is, for the stuff never to make it in my garage.
Jason, did you want to touch on what Zoe was talking about, being able to send in X amount of units at a time? I know you have certain reserve spaces for that.
Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of space. I guess as long as there's space, it's not a problem. At some point, like if we're gonna become a storage facility, like we're gonna have to like charge to become a storage facility or something
Of
to,
course.
make it worth our while. Like we really want to bend over backwards to be as helpful as humanly possible. Trust me, we really do. But I guess as long as we have space, it's not a big thing. The I guess the asterisk to that is like if it becomes more of a thing where we are storing, then at some point we would probably try to figure out some type of like fee structure to monetize that actual service. Yeah, I mean we have more space than we really need, to be honest with you. Like the facility, like we have these huge racking systems and they go up 3 levels. We inherited it when we took over the lease. So it's not like we bought all the racks or anything, but we don't have anything on like the second level. Like we have like very little a few boxes on the second level and like even less on the third level. Like we might have a few pallets full of stuff that got stored on the third level, but yeah, there is certainly space. If it's as long as we have space and it's not like taking up a whole bunch of room that we need, which we don't have that issue at this point. We're certainly amenable to trying to, appease you to help you out. And yeah, I mean we do that for a handful of people that make some buys and they don't want all of it being sent in at one time. So it's not something that we haven't done. Now we don't necessarily monitor, like we're not on top of like, hey, when are we supposed to be sending stuff in? So it'd kind of be on you to let us know that, hey, can you send in the other blah 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 units of this product at this point? So like we're not, nobody's walking around and saying like, okay, like this has been here for 60 days, like let's hit up the customer and see if we could send it back in at this point. So you just have to keep up with us and let us know that
time to send it back in, or no
And
no problem. So
no dangerous goods either.
yeah, well, we're not supposed to have dangerous goods,
Yeah,
honestly. Like,
just storage, prolonged storage. In and out,
yeah,
in and out, in and out.
yeah, hazmat stuff. It's really good. Like, you can make good money on hazmat. It's just not that many people are approved for it.
Right.
And they give you such a small amount of space for hazmat at Amazon too. But we have a lot of hazmat stuff, like we do, like in the industrial supply category, we have a ton of stuff in the hazmat space. And to your point, Danny, very like tools, like drill bits. Some of the stuff that I get stuck with, people decide that they don't want to pay for. And this, this sucks. Like, I can't do anything with this, like 100 units of this, like 1-inch drill bit. Like, no, there's nothing that I can do with this. It's so it's going to be so hard for me to sell. Yeah, avoid those. Like, avoid those. They're not good. They're hard to figure. And that's really, most of the variations are like that, are in that like very specific niche type of stuff. Like, what's the best socket wrench size? Like, or the little things that go on the socket wrenches. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different sizes, but how many people are buying the 1/2 inch versus the 3/4 of an inch or the 2-inch one?
And I would think there's a lot of like people like me who don't know enough about that stuff. So I'll buy all
Just
three of
avoid
them.
it altogether, honestly. Just don't
Yeah.
buy any of that.
Yeah, I'll buy all
If
three.
there's if there's
Thinking
87
that, like,
variations,
yeah,
don't
I'll,
bother.
yeah, I'll buy all three, thinking that like I need all three, not knowing exactly what one I want. I'll return two, and then that's
Yeah.
that's what most Amazon buyers are really are. They'll just buy it out. So I
For
think
us,
yeah,
for us, that category was the very first category that we started with. So if you go like the end of the catalog, that's pretty much all you're going to see is like supply stuff. That was the first category, and then we expanded a little bit into grocery. And it's our probably our best overall category, one that's kind of like continuing to expand, and we'll probably continuing like putting more energy into, will be that grocery and gourmet food type of category. The candy's good. For half the year at least, candy's really, really good. And it's one where we've had actually some success, landing some, brand deals that aren't necessarily going through the national distribution chain, like that sea salt. Actually, Danny, we have an account with them in particular, but like they have agreements with the national distributors that the national distributors get theirs first, and then whatever's left goes to the other folks. But like with the Jelly Belly, we got that account set up, and that one's really, we're having some good success with that one, and they're excited because we just sent them over, $40,000 PO, and they're like, what the frick are you guys doing? Like, and for them, like, we're tiny little fish. They're selling to like Walmart, they're selling to Target, who orders millions and millions of dollars of products. But generally, when someone approaches and say we sell to online resellers, they're like, yeah, you're gonna do a whole lot of nothing, just like everyone else that ever approaches us. So, uh, but that account's going real well. They're real happy with what's going on. And what's cool about that one, this specific, is they have like licensing agreements with a lot of different like major, like brands and stuff. You'll see like there's some like Harry Potter jelly beans. And so like all the time there's like new stuff coming out in that particular category that is unique, because they have these like unique licensing brands. Another one that I think coming in 2024, for those of you who are willing to kind of like go in on buys and try to like capture like a craze of a movie. I don't know the ID of 1045. Yeah, thanks, Kim. Like 991, supplier 991. There's some unique stuff that we're working out with them. into 2024 where there's a movie release schedule. We've kind of like dabbled it. We haven't had a whole lot of interest in it, but there's going to be like unique things that you can get. They might not have sales rank, and this is, I think, what scares a lot of people off is like they might not have sales rank, but what they're going to have is like a massive marketing budget behind them that, like if you think of the Barbie movie that happened recently, like did any of you guys see like the craze of like everything selling on Amazon that was Barbie related? The way that a lot of people kind of like go through their buying is like after the craze happens, now everyone wants to get the Barbie stuff, but at that point it's kind of too late. So if you can start shifting a little bit on your thought process as it relates to like how do retailers operate? Like how do big box retailers operate? Like they're making their commitments for Christmas right now, for next year, right? The manufacturers are actually planning for 2 years from now for what they're going to be making for Christmas. So like if you think of into 2024, I think March is the first like big movie that's going to be coming out that's like in the toy kind of category. So there's going to be opportunities to be able to piggyback on the marketing dollars that's going to be going behind creating these crazes, and on top of that, we've got some things that we're working out with the 991 as well, where we're going to be getting their kind of like pre-inventory sheets, which is it's the best way that I can explain that is like a pre-inventory sheet is like before all the resellers get the inventory that's on their shelves. It's like the stuff that's going to be coming in the pipeline in a few weeks. So you'll be able to like kind of like capture buys in some cases before everyone else, because at that point that's when everyone else starts splitting the inventory, right? And that's when you start kind of like having the competition. And in some cases, like you could make a living off of just a handful of SKUs, because like those handful of SKUs could literally be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory value, because like they're not just bringing in 300 units of something, they're bringing in 10,000 units of something, and that's expected to be the inventory that sells over the next 6 months in the market. Does that make sense? Like the wholesalers, especially in like this category, they're not buying like 30 days of supply. They're buying the year worth of supply that's going to trickle into the market for the entire year, right? So if you think of, if like sometimes you'll see like there might be thousands and thousands of units of something, and you look at it, you're like, well, it only sells like 300 times a month, which is true. But if you get that supply, you really reduce. Everyone's buying from the same places. I'm not like everyone's buying from the same exact places. Like there's not magic supply unless you're able to get it directly from the brand. In reality, like I get on the phone with people who are interested in joining, and some of them have the same exact suppliers, that we have. There's like it's not like the suppliers that we have don't have Amazon sellers outside of the community that are buying. It's just typically what you see is the ones that are like buying outside the community, they just have deep ass pockets. They're buying a lot. Like Westlake, you brought up Westlake. Like I don't know, they must have several $1 million worth of inventory at any time, because they have tens of thousands of units of stuff. So just those are some of the things that if you try to, from just in time buying, which is kind of the strategy that most of us use in terms of like how we get started. It's like, what does Walmart have? Cool, we're gonna buy that. What does Target have? Cool, we're gonna buy that. Man, I wish I could have got more, because it's all out at this point, and now the price is like selling. It's selling like crazy, right? But those companies, they're buying stuff because they know it's going to be a hit, and even they don't always get it right. That's why they go on clearance and stuff like stuff like that. That's why the big box guys, they don't always get it right, but they know they know the stuff that they're buying is going to have demand. So if you think of that as it relates to maybe the toy category supplier 991 specifically, that's the like we've been in that category for a few years, and we've taken our lumps, at like as buyers of products. Like 991 is the one toy supplier so far that we've actually like done some volume with, to where it's like, wow, this stuff actually sells at a profit without having 7,000 other people buying the same exact Funko. Go into Keith's office. He's got a whole bunch of Funkos that
That's
are
the
sitting
that's
in
the
there.
Amazon guru selling everyone on the Funkos and whatnot.
Well, it's because like when people buy those, they're typically buying them like before they're released, so they look really, really profitable. So, like and hey, listen, we've made all the mistakes in the world learning the business. Like 2 years ago, when we were like sourcing when we like entered the toy category, you could go in the seats and you saw, holy shit, man, that thing's like 75% ROI, 100% ROI. I'm gonna buy 200 of this. I'm gonna buy 150 of this. I'm gonna buy 300 of this, and like then you had the lead time, because like, oh, it's not gonna be released for 6 months, and then you have like, oh crap, like 75 people did the same thing, and now it's like it went from 0 sellers to 100 sellers within a few weeks when the supplier actually got their stock. So
I also
I
think
always bring that
it's
up.
important to know is like, you'll start to see like the entire community of people selling on Amazon. It all starts in toys. So if you're a toy seller or you're coming in because you saw some Instagram guy start selling something on Amazon that was toys, it's because it's the easiest barrier for entry. Anybody can go into a Target, a Walmart, and buy so and so a Lego set and throw it up on, oh God, EE distribution. Don't even get me started with them. It's anybody can go in and do it. So like what ends up happening is Joe Blow with $20 wants to flip a Lego set, and they buy it and they go on Amazon, they make money, and all of a sudden he throws it up on there, and all of a sudden the price starts dropping. Ultimately, Joe Blow doesn't have a whole lot of money, so he you start to see this trailing downwards, and he'll sell for $1 profit and then takes the whole listing out with him. You got to be really, really careful with toys. I'd like
There's
toys.
always someone on Amazon willing to sell things for less than you. I always tell people that there's
Yeah.
always someone willing to lose more money than you. It's like that category is weird. I
Yeah.
bought I bought this like helmet a few months ago. I bought 110 of them, and it's still just sitting in the warehouse because like I was like, well, I don't want to send them in right now because it's not going to do well at this point. And my cost was $110. Like I paid my own markup on it. So like Bold City made its money. This is for like this is for my like my side store that I do. That thing's selling like $110 cost right now. That thing's selling for $54 right now. And I have no idea where the heck everyone got it from. It's like we're like it went from like 20 sellers to 100, and it's like, how do they keep dropping the price? I mean, the wholesale cost on that sale went down to $94. Like that was on sale, down from 98. So it's like there ain't no way that they had $40 marked up in that thing. There's just no way, that they had that much marked up. So it's like, did like Hasbro do some type of like dump, and they were like, hey, we're legitimately just giving away this product for free, and like some type of liquidator got it and got it into the hands of 100 different Amazon sellers. Anyways, like the whole point is we're always looking at our supply and trying to figure out like which supplier is number one, give the best fulfillment, like that way we can cut down on, lead times. And, you touched on average lead time. It's such a deceptive number because like if something's out of stock, when you buy it and it takes 6 months to come in and then it's stocked for the next 6 months, your average lead time once it's in stock is going to be a week or 2 weeks. But it's like if it's out of stock, it could take a long time, but we're always looking at our supply. So you might have seen that like recently, I think 40,000 listings got pulled down. And part of that was because like the shipping times that we were getting from one of our we really like them as a supplier. They're still really, really good. It's just the shipping times were very, very long. So we're like, well, until they figure this out, we're gonna pull them down. Even though it took down 40,000 listings, but now the team and now Logan and his people are focusing on the suppliers that we know that we're going to be able to get fulfilled on really, really quickly. And we just continuously look at our overall portfolio of suppliers and we say, well, we're not going to be doing business with these ones anymore because, the Funko stuff just doesn't sell for a profit. So it doesn't make sense for us to even sell it to people. Even if we can make money, if someone's going to get all their money tied up in the Funkos and you can't make any money off of it, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be pushing that stuff for the long term. Because then, but it's, in a way, it's a double-edged sword for us,
Yeah.
because like we have to find stuff that's going to sell, or else our business doesn't work at all. So, it's like, you have to constantly be like trying to put stuff in front of people. And that's the whole purpose of the Discord. I know that it's like when I explained, I was talking to Andrew Poe earlier, who just joined us today. And I was talking to him about like the Discord. And I say that the thing about the Discord is like, you actually get people who are like actively going through the supply, trying to pluck out stuff that might make sense. You may or may not agree with the analysis. You may or may not think that product's good, or doesn't meet your criteria, but it's almost like the same thing that you would be doing if you were to go pay a virtual assistant to do this for you. And a lot of people take that route. So like you can save your money on pay and just leverage Discord and everything that Logan and his team are doing, because they're not only going through seats, but they're also, going through our other suppliers. And, we're kind of like, on how do we make sure that we get coverage on all of our suppliers, because we have a lot. We have a lot that we can't even get, to be honest with you, 80 accounts, and
Yeah.
we probably have like 22 that we really do any business with. Another like 20 of those might be good if we could have like enough time to go to.
Right, which goes
Sure.
back to hopefully, if we can increase these orders and the units,
I want to show you guys one last listing that I'll pop on, and it's something I'm actively selling on. And it just kind of shows you the power. And I did find this on Seats, so that's something to be said. So you guys can see in my desktop here, right? So this is something I came across randomly. I came across this. It was a while ago. I bought 100 units. So I bought this on 11/17. It's been on Seats for what, 3 months prior to that, and that up to that point, no one had really even bought it, right? So you had 12 units on 10/27. So this is basically only a couple of different partners that buy this, and I use this as a determining factor if I'm going to be buying a product, right? I'm not going to buy, that one item that Jason was talking about, the salt. I saw one partner drop like 2,000 units. I was going to jump on. I was like, I don't want to go head to head with him. I'll let him win his big win. But this one was interesting. So this one, what I had done for my filter was under 50,000 rank. And keep in mind here, so right here's the profit at BB. Do not listen to this. This is a good tool to use to look at the product, but do not factor your method here, right? And this is why. So everything here says 60 and 60 buy cost. It's a 4-pack list. I think it's a 4-pack. Yeah, 4-pack listing or 6-pack listing. So 250. So this basically sparked my what I wanted to see. Look at this. Currently selling at 39.42. And you come down here to the buy box, and you can basically see this. And the reason I like this was this big drop in rank, right? And I think this happened. So I probably bought this like right here. So I bought it right here. The drop in rank happened probably 10 or 15 days prior. And I was like, this is interesting. So I basically went from a 200,000 rank, which I would never touch ever, to 19,000 rank. And all of a sudden, the velocity of these sales went right up. So you come over here, now they're selling 1,000 times a month for a 6-pack listing. I was getting it for $16.66 on Seats. No one saw it because they saw $2.50, which honestly, if you guys are not buying $2.50 product,
Can I offer a damage and admission about Seats? Can I tell you guys like one of our biggest,
yeah,
I would say like we our when we engineered it, we're not a software, like none of us have any idea how to engineer software. So like we hired people obviously to do it. And one of the ways that we kind of engineered it, we didn't do it right as it relates to being able to keep up with the buy box, right? So
Huh.
if you filter things out, you'll probably filter yourself out of really good opportunities. In some cases, like if I was going to filter, you might want to filter for like negative $2 profit instead of like just profit, because like in that example, did you just click on that one and the buy box is actually at $39?
$39, yeah,
Right.
$69,
So
$9 profit now.
we the larger that database is, the less the less we can keep up with the actual buy box changes.
Yeah,
So
like I know, like for instance, like you guys may see on the Discord, like one of the things we're going to actually be removing on the current Discord thing is right now the BSR, the sales rank, is getting pulled in by Keepa. The Keepa API that's being pulled in through the Keepa, they created it, is incorrect. So the data, when you look at the listing, the BSR may say 17,000, but really it's 35,000, or vice versa. It could be a 35,000 showing a 17,000, and there was basically no rhyme or reason. That's why I think it's so important to, pull those lists, go in kind of like how I said, basically go to Seats, do whatever filters you feel comfortable doing, look at the listings, and and look, average sales rank, even this, it's underneath that $100,000 marker where I like to stay with, right? I said 250, interesting. I'm like, okay, at that time, only 12 units were purchased. 12. And I was like, what do I have here? I was like, I have a gem, right? These only checked in, and this is me right here. So this is me right here. I have 70.
did you finally get them? I remember like
I got well, this one order, I got 100 of them. The other one, I have a $30,000 PO waiting. Hopefully that hits. I want that one. But that was of the single unit listing. This is different. But you can see here, so it's actually more than that. 39.42, 1666 cost is $9.50. So I'm at $10 mark right there. I'm gonna pop over to Amazon real quick. I just want to see for myself. Manage orders. Mason. I'm gonna do the last 30 days. So these just checked in a couple days ago. There you go. And I'm all over the board. So I'm at 39, 35. My repricers going to town here. 31, 31, 39, 44. So I got a $44 sale. So if I got the $44, which I don't think I'll get that again, but $44, I was making 14, 16, 80, almost 100% ROI on one listing. And this is just a random product I found on Seats. And that's why I think it's so important to basically just come up here and basically pop out. And this is how I source, so I go in stock. I know that's in stock, out of stock is, finicky, 50,000. I'm going to just do 40% ROI, pop in. We've already went over that listing. You kind of come in here and I quickly glance. So I do look at both, right? So I don't, if this number is 200,000 and this is 20,000, usually that's a red flag for me. And I'd like to have a little bit of margin of profit. So I like the 367. Let's see, this is a 1-pack listing. I'd like this 252 in stock. Somebody just literally bought them today. And that doesn't mean I can't buy them. I just know that, that might be, something I want to stay off. I stay away from cans. I've had a lot of success with Logan actually sent me some of this $5. I think this is a 2-pack. So let's see here. This is a salt or a pepper. We have 825, 562 profit. Hold on, 562. And this is literally how I source. This guy's on a lot of listings, but keep in mind, so 948 price right here, but he's shipping it for 10 bucks. So the real cost of this right now is around $18-19, give or take. I'm just going to use this without even using Keepa. 5.42. I mean, 5 point. This, I have a feeling this is going to be inflated here, but $4.33 profit. I pop down here.
Especially
Okay,
that brand. That's a very big brand. They're very heavily distributed.
so this is, you know, I talked about like the inflated buy box. So this is what I would consider an inflated buy box. I would not purchase this at this thing, but what I will do is I'll take this, I'll put that right into my mission control, and I will revisit that in a couple days, because what I want to know is this realistic? Is a $16.99 to $22 price increase realistically for me to sell? Essentially, what's going to happen is a bunch of partners will come up here and buy this at the 22 mark, right? $22 for this is, you know, a home run any way you look at it, right? You're making 127, you know, 27% ROI. However, what I think will happen, let's zoom out, will come down. I don't, you know, I kind of play with numbers. So if we came down to, you know, it's saying like a 967 to 1379 range, you know, like 16.99. Let's say we came down to $17. Is it still profitable, right? $17. Still profitable. Still almost a 50% ROI. This is still a home run. However, if it goes down to here, 967, people are actually, let me go down here to data, buy box, 14. Okay, so there we go. $14 is the realistic selling price in the
Which
last.
is still a little bit above your break even, which is not the end of the world.
Yeah, so 13. So Amazon has been, Amazon is on this listing, which is, they take up 63% of the buy box. So even though Amazon's fully in stock pretty much year round, they're still sharing it almost 40% of the time, you know, and sharing it higher, which is usually you don't see that. So let's say it is $13, right? Which 13, what is that? 13.85. 85.
A little bit above break even. Yeah.
So look, you're still making 17. Look, that margin of profit is too small for me personally, but you're still making 17% ROI. And, you know, so this is how I gauge my products. And then you also got to look. So there's 99 estimated sales of 62,000 rank. You know, you have 6 sellers. Some of them are FBM. You could probably sell 10 to 15 units of this a month, every month. However,
Easily.
you know, you need to have, for me, and I recommend, if you are a seller right now and you're watching this video, shoot for higher profit. You know, and in order to get better profit, hit up Logan, hit up Keith, hit up Jason, put in some bigger buys. You know, so there's 100 estimated sales. You could easily buy 100 or 200 using these units. I don't know what the price could come down to, $5.25, $5. You know, now you're making 21% and the lowest amount of, you know, things possible. And this is why I really wanted to do a video like this, because there's opportunities there. They're on seats that are there, right? You know, and you know that, you know, this is something that, you know, when you see this right here, this inflated jump, don't buy here, please. Don't buy here, please. You know, realistically, look at your numbers the last 60, 90 days. Make sure you're doing the right proper research, and really take a look at, you know, the big picture here. Like these, real quick, I know this one I bought some, maybe not this listing per se, but one of these listings I bought a lot of. There's a lot of home runs here, a lot of them. And look, there's just on this one filter that I'm doing, there's 227 products. And what I do is once a week, you know, maybe not all of them. I will scroll through all of these, and I'll go through a lot of them I've seen over and over again. So I'll just ultimately skip over them. But ultimately, I'll go through them and I'll look at, like, hey, is this profitable? Like, for instance, this is something that I've seen a handful of times on my list, right? Is this listing right here, 967. And I think there's actually on Discord too. You know, 967 is a buy cost. I think this is actually profitable. 9.67, $23, $4 profit right there. There you go. There's items.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think that was a seats fund. Yeah.
Yeah. This stuff is sitting on seats right now. I mean, this is 20. So let's see. Let's bring this down to 2290. Whatever the current buy box is, still a 37% ROI product. You look right here. So this is, you know, what I would consider inflated buy box. However, we are peak Q4. So would I buy this product right now if you're watching this video? Maybe. just know that you might come back down to this selling price. And could this selling price be where you want to make money? 1550? I don't think so. You know, and I think that's probably why I say it off of this. You know, that's the type of research that you should be doing on every single product you do. But like, all I had to do was come in here, pop it in, check real quick, and determine if it's a profitable product. And this is I do this all the time. Pretty much once a week. A lot of Jelly Belly on here. Sometimes I'll filter it so no meltables, because I've seen a lot of meltable come out here recently. I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff at Amazon that's food related. But like, for instance, this is something I have not seen yet. Let's see, $3. I don't even know what this is. This looks like it was added today, which it was 336 and thing. We have 620 cost. A couple different variations here. You got to make sure that you're ungated for selling over the counter stuff. Hold on, 15 to 50, 620. Some profit here, and this sells a lot. However, keep in mind 6.20. Even God, why am I keep on doing slashes? 20. So even though 40% ROI just on this one product and it's selling 16 times a month, one of the things that you're going to want to do is just make sure there are 1, 2, 3, 4 variations on this listing. A little bit inflated, but it's been inflated for 4 months. This could be an interesting opportunity. You come over here to variations, pop down here. So there is actually 2 variations, and this is the most popular variation. So this is getting 84% of the sales. There's also something I'm going to do quickly on here is what I want to make sure is I want to make sure personally, I don't sell on listings where the brand is on the listing personally. So that's always something I check. I come over here, I make sure whatever this, I don't even know the name of this company, Vero Systems. I make sure Vero Systems is not on. That's something that I just do internally. A lot of new sellers here. No one really has any true supply. This guy might have some. He looks like a bigger seller. Most of these are FBM. I come over here. I'll double check that research just once more. 1550, 620 cost, 250. I mean, this is a buy right here. 100% a buy. You know, and then I just want to double check all my research and make sure that I'm not seeing something that I'm not thinking. Okay, so here we go. The seller was on the listing. It looks like the seller, this company at $6.99. And up to that point, there was no other sellers on the listing. But they've had 0 supply since September 17th. You know, so the last 4 months they've had no supply, and you know, it looks like it's been selling pretty consistently. You know, over the last little bit. This guy right here. I just want to make sure, and this is how I do my research. I just want to make sure this seller is not some big wig that I can't compete with, and this guy's an OA seller. An OA seller, it's dabbling some wholesale, and honestly, he's probably doing OA just by the products I can see that he's selling. So that's the type of research I do on every single product, and I do it quick. I comb through seats, pretty quickly. I kind of figure out what I want, but just so you guys know, I'm adding that. So if you see me on the listing, that's why. But yeah, I think that is probably where I'm going to leave it. There's if you guys want to message me privately, if you guys have questions, let me know. I'm going to this entire thing's going to be recorded. It's a really long video. It's been a 2-hour call. I'm going to go hang out with my dogs, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to let me know, and we will talk soon.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
You guys
Thanks,
have any
guys.
questions, ping me. I'm always on Discord. And yeah, when it comes in the discounting or whatever, bug me, and then I'll turn around and I'll bug one of them, and we'll make a final call in the end. But either way, we're here to make some stuff work. So the more you buy, the better for everyone. That's the whole name of the game. We'll see
Hey,
y'all
guys,
around.
have
Hope
a good
everyone has a
night.
good holiday.
Later, guys.